a lesson into listening to your intuition and speaking up when you have something to say. This is a lesson that I've had to repeat many, many times. And most recently, it was a lesson that was very, very devastating to have to experience again. And every time I think that I've learned it, I am shown that I have not quite learned it. Well, about what, year and a half or so ago, um, I was put into a position that I thought was something other than what it ended up being. The relationship I felt was genuine, and I felt like it was a. I felt like it was going to be something that was going to last for a really long time. Um, and it turned out in more recent events not to be the case. And the thing is that I was presented opportunities to take that involved my relationship with other individuals, um, and the better side of me, my intuition told me on several occasions that things were not what they seemed. Um, at one point, I was presented with an amazing opportunity that I did take, but my intuition told me to take that opportunity on by myself, and I didn't listen. I instead took the opportunity and I invited other people along with me for the ride. And in the end, that turned out to be a very, very, very big mistake. Throughout the whole time, from the time that this relationship started until recently, I had been, well, most of my life really. I have struggled to speak up and to say what I feel, and instead I continue to try to people please, um, and I would sacrifice myself over and over and over again, to avoid any kind of conflict and to try and make sure that everybody else felt comfortable, even if I felt really uncomfortable. Um, and that has always led to betrayal, feelings of betrayal, and pretty much being taken advantage of. And this situation was absolutely no different. I went in untrusting and forced myself to trust because I was being I was receiving a little bit of for lack of a better word, subtle backlash for not fully trusting. And so I kind of pushed myself into doing that, into fully trusting. And once I did that, that was used as a way to try and bring me down or hurt me. And it was done repeatedly. And I never really, I guess I just didn't want to believe any of it. I didn't want to believe that that was what was happening and that I was repeating this same pattern over and over again. Even though I recognized it, I didn't want to believe it. Um, so I'd second guess my intuition, and I would push away the feelings and all of the little warning signs and the red flags and everything that I was giving that was saying that that these relationships were not beneficial to me, that they were creating more harm than good. Um, but I pushed it all away, and I just forced myself to engage and forced myself to trust with this false reality that um, that this was, that it was beneficial and that it was good for me when it wasn't good for me. Um, and well, basically, when shit hit the fan, um, and leading up to that, I started using my voice a little bit more. I started asking questions. I started, um, bringing up the red flags when I would see them. And I was met with a lot of resistance, a lack of clarity, and unanswered questions over and over again. I couldn't get any straight answers for things that I was questioning. And it wasn't even just me, it was other people involved asking the same types of questions, and still no real answers. Um, at one point before shit hit the fan, I actually did speak up because I kept being told to do that. Um, and to not be afraid to do that. And then when I did, I was like prosecuted for doing that. And I was suddenly not able to partake in anything with people that were involved in my relationships. I wasn't able to partake in things anymore after I spoke up. And that just kind of put me right back to the beginning again of not trusting and being afraid to speak up for myself and stand up for myself. Because my fear of what would happen if I did that ended up happening when I did that. um, you know, it was kind of, it was like, it was used against me. Like, I'm going to push you to do this, and then when you do it, I'm going to use it against you to hurt you more. And that is exactly what happened. And so I had to look past that and again, I didn't heal from it right away. It took a long time. I didn't talk about it. Um, I kind of just ignored it. And then I apologized. I apologized for my feelings being hurt. What? No, that is not okay. That's not how it works. You don't have to apologize because your feelings get hurt. But that's what I did because that's how I knew to handle situations. I I look back on this now and I realize that these were situations that kept repeating over and over again. And I kept taking the blame when I wasn't to blame. Just because I had that mindset of not, I didn't want confrontation. I didn't want anyone else's feelings to be hurt. It was okay if mine got hurt because I could deal with it. It wasn't anything new for me. I could deal with that. But I didn't want anyone else's feelings to get hurt. So over time, the questions, the red flags, all of that they just kept showing up. And, questions started being asked. And we weren't getting real answers to these questions. And then, of course, shit hit the fan. And it took somebody else to almost kind of see things for what they were and call it out. And when that happened, that propelled me to take further action that I needed to. Um, and I still made mistakes along the way because I still didn't act and trust my intuition right away. And I didn't do that. And so it made the process a little bit messier than what it probably needed to be. Um, but had I trusted in my intuition in the very, very beginning, and had I spoken up for myself and stood up for myself in the very beginning, things wouldn't have taken place the way that they did. When it was all said and done, I've realized now how much was stolen from me. And I don't just mean on an emotional level. It was. But over time and reflecting back and actually looking at the evidence right in front of my face, right in front of my face, I mean, clear as day, that I had seen the entire time. And I just ignored it because I didn't want to believe that it was actually true. That what I knew was happening was true, and I didn't want to believe that. And now I look back on it, and it makes me very angry. I'm a little bit angry with myself because I didn't pay attention, because I didn't listen to my intuition, because I knew what was going on and I knew what was happening, and I allowed myself to believe otherwise just because I wanted to protect the people that were doing it. The part that makes me the most angry, though, is that other people that were involved were hurt just as much as me. They were stolen from just as much as me. If not more so, and if not on a deeper level. We were stolen from emotionally, but also physically. We physically had money and possessions taken away from us that didn't belong to other people. And I kind of blame myself a little bit for allowing that to happen, because I knew that it was taking place for a long time and I didn't say anything. I overlooked it and I pretended like it wasn't happening. And the thing is that there were things coming up where the people that were in the wrong and were doing this were trying to blame me for it. They were trying to blame me. And, if we know anything about how humans work, humans will make statements and they will point the finger at other people without any kind of evidence, without anything. No, the topic doesn't even come up. They just automatically point the finger at you, that you did everything. And they do that totally randomly. And that's when you know that when they're pointing the finger at you, if you could be a mirror, literally reflecting their faces, because we know that humans do that to protect their own selves. They do that when they are actually in the wrong and they know they are, and to protect their own selves. And that's what was happening, and that's what was taking place. And I knew that, and I could feel it, and I could see it. I mean, it was clear as day. It was, and it just, I look at it now and it just blows my mind that it still just shocks me that it was taking place. And even more so that it took that long, and we had tried to speak up. We had tried to question, and we're just met with resistance, and we weren't given clear answers to any of those questions we had. when we would bring up the things we were noticing that just didn't seem to be quite right. It wasn't a fun situation by any means. But it was a lesson learned, and the lesson has really actually taught me not just about speaking up, because I was kind of learning that anyway and, trying to do that, but also about not being afraid to hurt other people's feelings. Sometimes feelings need to be hurt, and they need to be hurt deeply in order to get your point across. It's not the way that I would particularly like to do things. I would hope that I never have to hurt feelings. Sometimes karma takes care of that for you, and in my case, it did. In my case, karma stepped forward and took care of what needed to be taken care of for me. And now I am left cleaning up the mess, because I have to clean up this mess for not just myself, but for other people that were involved as well. I guess what I'm trying to say is, for anybody that watches this and feels like you have something to say, anyone watching this that sees the red flags and is just overlooking them and maybe ignoring what their intuition is telling them and what that inner voice is saying, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Don't create suffering longer than what you need to. And, don't worry about how it affects other people. Your first priority is yourself. And I really wish that I would have taken my own advice, because I give that advice to other people, and I wish I would have taken it in my own situation. And the funny thing is that I've prepared for this moment for so long. I've prepared for it. I've saved up extra money because I knew that it was going to be taken from me. And I was going to have to reinvest, and I was going to have to do that. I had put preparations in play for how to handle the situation when it unfolded, because I knew that it was happening. I knew it was coming. I just wish that it would have happened sooner. I wish things, could have unfolded in a different way, and I wish that karma didn't have to intervene the way that karma did, but it is what it is, and it's how it happened. And now I am here to rebuild what I had originally created. And that's what I'm doing, and there's lots of anger involved in the whole thing. And not even so much from me. I mean, yeah, I'm angry a little bit, but actually not really towards. I'm more angry with myself for allowing it to happen than I am at the people that caused it. I guess it's just a way that maybe part of that experience, and it's part of that lesson, because I feel like for me, I know that karma will take care of what needs to happen, for one thing. And two, I know that if I come back in another life, we're going to cross paths again. And we're going to deal with a similar situation again. I wish that it wasn't going to be that way, but I know that it is. And I'm going to have to, in the next life, be okay with being hated sooner. Because that is what it is now. Um, I already know that the people in the wrong are talking um, about me behind my back. I've already been given that proof more than once. Name calling and just trying yet again to bring me down. Unfortunately, it's not working. It is unfortunately propelling me forward. It is making me stronger. Um, and it has shown me that I am a lot more capable than I ever thought I was, and that I don't need anybody else to help me be successful in my life, that I can do it completely on my own. Um, I'm definitely thankful when I don't have to. I'm definitely thankful when I have true people in my life that are willing to step up and help and not put it all on me. Definitely thankful for that, but I also know that I'm capable if it comes down to it. So, anyway, like I said, if you are somebody that has stuff to say, if you're seeing red flags in any kind of way, in with any people in your life at all, and you're seeing red flags, and you are maybe second guessing your intuition, um, don't don't second guess your intuition. Follow it. As long as you're following your intuition, you can't make mistakes. Your intuition is going to lead you to whatever outcome it is that is for your benefit. And it might include a lot of lessons, and it might include a lot of hard lessons. Um, but it is still, you can't go wrong if you're following that intuition. So just do it. And don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to stick up for yourself. Um, I wish I would have done that before, but I didn't. Anyway, that is my TED Talk to you today. So I hope you all have a great day, and happy full moon lunar eclipse.